Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my final Q&A video leading up to the Walking Dead Season 5 mid-season finale, Coda. Alright, so very excited for tonight's episode of The Walking Dead, the mid-season finale. It's about time, but it's kind of sad at the same time too. So I'm like super excited, I'm super happy we're getting to see the mid-season finale, but also a little sad because I cannot believe this half of the season is over already. Now, usually the first half of the Walking Dead seasons are not, it's the start of a new season, so usually the most exciting part is the second half. But Season 5 started off so strong that it was insanely exciting. And then, of course, last season, Season 4, we had Too Far Gone, like the biggest episode ever, which was a mid-season finale. So, and then the second half was almost like the start of a new season. So The Walking Dead doesn't necessarily always follow that kind of formula, but usually I get most excited for the the actual season finales. But damn, man, time just flying by, absolutely crazy. Anyway, we'll do videos reflecting on the half season once we get to that point. So I made notes of mostly not everybody's questions, but the most that I could make by about anybody who sent theirs in by about Tuesday, Wednesday, missing a few to tell you the truth. And I get them from private messages. I don't usually check comments. Sometimes I'll get them from comments. I mean, I browse over the comments, but there's so many that there's no way I can answer all those questions. So if you guys have any Q&As after seeing the mid-season finale, any Q&A questions, send them to me in a private message. Don't just comment in the video, because if you just comment in the video, and I get 300 comments that day or 200 the next day, and then I don't check for a couple days, boom, the odds of me getting to see any of those questions is like 0 to none. It's in the About section on the channel if you guys are looking for it, so there you go anyway. Let's go start with the questions. First one is from Seagar Nika89 or Nixa89, and he says, "Hey Trev, can you do a video evaluating the mental status of Abraham? He is going through epic apeshit worse than Tyreese and Rick when they lost their loved ones. He only lost the mission." Well, that's not true. He didn't. You're wrong about that. Abraham is going through so much because he gave up everything for the mission. He said, screw it all. Like when we saw earlier on in the series, when he met Eugene, he was not in a good state. And then afterwards, they basically left. They left that place. So he left behind whatever was going on in his life, trying to find his family. Maybe they were dead, maybe they weren't. What do we know? What happened to them? His wife or whatever with the kids, she was scared of him, so she left. And then he left that place where he might have eventually found them, whether they would have been alive or zombies, who knows? But who knows what would have happened if he didn't get wrapped up in this mission and take off. He gave his whole life for this thing. Now, there's been some good that's come from that. You've got Rosita, so he's got that relationship there, which is a good thing, that he's got somebody that cares about him and they seem to love each other, this kind of thing. But at the same time, they have lost many survivors on the way there. Like, think about Rick's group and how many survivors they've lost. Well, imagine being on the road all the time in a zombie apocalypse. He's probably lost more people than Rick has when you consider. And he's done it for basically nothing. He's just found out. So put your head in that kind of space to consider what he would be going through as a character when he's given up all of this and there's no purpose behind it. He's done it just because he believed a fantastical story that most people would have said, like, yeah, save the world, bullshit, can't go back, Bob. So most people would it's not even being smart or stupid. Most people wouldn't know. Like, nowadays people are so used to getting bombarded with advertising and nonsense and just BS. Not that advertising is bad, but they're just used to being talked into things all the time, being BS'd and being lied to. And, for him to be that believing, he's obviously a nice person. To be able to believe other people, you have to be an honest person yourself, really, right? And he may be too honest, and he didn't really think about, this story that this Eugene guy is saying. Like, is this really true? And Eugene, he's a great liar. He can put on a good performance because he knows all kinds of random things, like the battery with, starting the fire and all that. And the stuff he knows, like Rosita saying, Eugene taught me how to do this, to filter the water, and, all these things, right? he puts on a good show. But yeah, in the end, Abraham did believe him. He didn't just call his bluff. Maybe his first instinct was to call his bluff, but he second guessed himself, let's say, afterwards, and it's cost him basically everything. So yeah, that's what his headspace, I would say, is probably is at this time, and definitely warranted that he's just just basically sitting there and just wondering what the hell he's done all this time. So anyway, I like Abraham. I think he's a great character, and he's a lot of fun. Eugene too, just in his own way. They both have their own things, but Abraham is a really cool character as well. Next one is from Mario1244, and here she says, "Hey Trev, I would just like to thank you for all the work you've done on your channel. Without you, The Walking Dead would not be as fun to look forward to, at least for me. Keep up the good work, dude." So not really a question, actually more of a comment, but thanks, man. Appreciate it. I hope that in doing the videos I do, in creating what I do here on YouTube, that maybe it makes you guys a little bit more excited. Maybe it makes you appreciate and enjoy The Walking Dead just a little bit more, or just gives you something to look forward to when The Walking Dead's not on. You can watch my videos, maybe a few a week or on a daily basis when it is on, and it can kind of make you just kind of enjoy it just a little bit more than you normally would, So that's my goal here. Another question here is from Jonathan V, and he says, "Which comic book superhero resembles the character of Rick?" And I was thinking about this one. I'm like, man, I don't know. I mean, a superhero, by the definition of superhero, is somebody that has superpowers. Rick is a character that does not have superpowers. He has to rely on his real-world skills as a real person in a supernatural situation with zombies. So a crazy situation. So in terms of who would he remind me of the most, I don't know. In terms of personality, maybe I wouldn't say like the Punisher or anybody like that. I mean, he doesn't have powers, but I don't know. I mean, man, that's a really tough question. Somebody that doesn't have, I don't know. I don't know. That one I'm going to leave at, I don't know. He resembles Rick, the comic book version. There you go. All right, next one is from Gunslinger, and he says, "Trev, with the actress that plays Sasha being pregnant, I think it would be cool if they incorporated that into the show. Do a flashback of Bob and Sasha being alone and intimate, and Sasha is pregnant with Bob's baby. You'd think that they would take advantage of that and use it in the show." And this is from, Gunslinger. That's a good one, man. I do like that. I would like to see something like that. I think that, anytime they can bring on some good drama with other characters, now that because Rick has had a lot of drama, over the first few seasons with that type of situation with Shane and Lori and all that. And if they could, do that a little bit more with some of the other characters, I think the show would benefit greatly from it, just to concentrate. Kind of a little bit like with what happened with Carol, Lizzie, Mika, just something like that, where you have, intense relationship drama that ends in a death or something of the sort, or one of them dies and how the other feels. So I like what they've done so far with Bob and Sasha. I really have enjoyed that, and just with the excitement and everything, and the emotion for feeling for Sasha's loss of what happened to Bob was crazy. So I would really like to see something like that. I think that would be really cool. That is, if Sasha's going to survive herself. I mean, if she was pregnant and then she just got killed off at some point, that would be brutal, So I don't know. I guess it depends, but I would like to see it, definitely, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good idea. Next one's from Jay Lawrence, and he says, "Hey Trev, a while back you did a video on possible Daryl spoilers, so possible spoiler warning here, guys, for this one. Talking about the leaked hand photos, and it's in the channel. You can search it in the channel from the summertime. It's it's a weird one. Norman Reed has posted pictures on his Twitter of like this hand thing. I don't know what was going on with it. And he says, I just watched that video, and the last picture of the severed hand has to be Abraham's. It's a left hand with a wedding ring and badly infected cuts across the top, just like we see not yet infected cuts in Self-Help. I don't know. Maybe you got something there, man. I mean, they've been focusing on on his cuts quite a bit, you know, and to me that's a little strange. It's kind of like, you know, the thing with the smoke and Carol. They've been focusing on that too. By the way, I had someone send me a question. It was a doctor, a professor. I forget your name. Sorry if you're watching. I wrote it down and then, or I was going to write it down and then somehow it got pushed out of my messages. I don't know. YouTube has like a limit for messages, so it somehow I lost it. So what she brought up in a message was that you know, they seem to be focusing a lot on those two things. So maybe we're going to see something with that, or maybe it's to symbolize their trauma or something. She went into some other things I can't remember off the top of my head. But, you know, it is weird how much they focus on certain things. We've seen a lot of shows do that, and I like it. If you guys have ever seen Fargo, there's a part where they focus on this washing machine or dryer. I forget which one. And it's really cool how they show it. They focus on, and later on it comes into play. As a very important, I guess you could call it like an artifact or just an object right there. And then afterwards, like when they kind of show it to you and how important it is, as it becomes part of the story, you're like, oh, you know, it's a really cool, neat little trick that they do. So things to watch for with regards to that, you know, Carol and smoke, Carol and fire, something to go on with that. And yeah, I think you might be onto something, Lawrence, with the hand, baby Abraham. I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Could we have a Merle type situation? I don't know. Next one is Maximu 2. This is from him or her. Yeah, Maximu Turu, sorry, weird name. If the world was ever to become normal again, do you think Rick would ever become normal again? No. If you read the comic book series, he kind of, at certain parts, it kind of seems like the world is getting back to kind of, you know, regular society. Not entirely, not with electronics and everything, but some of it, right? Like kind of like medieval times type deal. Yeah, Rick has got a switch. It seems like to me that he flips a switch. So if everything's going good, he's nice and he's a nice, you know, leader and everything like that. He's nice to everybody. He's charismatic and all that. But if somebody screws up, look out. You know, he goes straight up, you know, badass survivor mode on him like nothing. So it scares him shitless. So we've seen that once in the comic book series. So I think he'll always have that part of his personality, and so will Carl, which we've seen recently in the comic book series. Next question, also from Maxim Turu. He also asks, what are your favorite videos to make? That's a really, really tough question. I'd probably say my death predictions videos for The Walking Dead are my absolute favorites. I love trying to predict who's going to die next. And I don't feel bad about it when I'm wrong, because it's a really difficult thing to do. And even though sometimes things look a certain way, you know, they may not always go that way. Sometimes you'll have Andrew be killed off out of nowhere or something like that. And yeah, it's just it's really fun. Also, I mean, I like doing the reviews too. Reviewing The Walking Dead is a lot of fun for me. I really enjoy it. I like reviewing other shows too. I like reviewing Game of Thrones. That's fun. I like doing top 5, top 10 lists. I like reviewing series as a whole. Like I've done a few reviews for The Walking Dead as a whole up to current date. I like doing that. I think that's awesome, man. I also like reviewing the comic book series a lot. So I have quite a few videos that I do really enjoy making. Like, back in the day when I first got started on YouTube, before there was ads or anything, I would just do videos here and there just because I liked it. I just like doing it, right? So I do enjoy all of those different types. I also enjoy making MMA videos, but UFC doesn't allow for that. If you do that long enough in a channel, your channel will get shut down sooner or later. They'll give you trouble for it at least and screw you up. So all of those, and I like doing figure videos as well too. I've got Goku on my desk. You can see my figures back there. So I like doing that. So I have lots of videos I like to do, but if I had to pick just one, I'd say in particular my predictions for The Walking Dead. I enjoy doing that quite a bit, and guessing and being wrong sometimes too is fun. Next one's from Cody Fields. He says, Q&A question for you, Trev. What are your thoughts on the hospital arc so far? Have you been satisfied? So this is a tough one, and I'm going to get more into this when we finish this first half of the season, so the mid-season finale. But am I satisfied so far? No, I'm not. No, I mean, the Terminus Hunters storyline was like so exciting. It was just like, oh my God, mind-blowing. When episode 3 hits and they just slaughter them, my brain just shot out of my head. It was just like the craziest thing ever, and I was so like just oh my God, like distraught and mixed emotions, and also just excited, and just, you know, they were able to defeat this fearsome group that had them and was going to eat them. You know, I mean, it was just quite the episode, and the first one was too. The premiere was incredible. Also, second episode was so good, and then we get into the best stuff with this, and maybe it's just me, but a lot of my least favorite episodes in the series, you know, are focusing around Beth. I'm talking Still. I'm talking, you know, these ones. You know, yeah, there's been some other ones too. Arrow on the Doorpost. You know, I mean, there's been others that haven't been the best of The Walking Dead. But so far, the hospital story arc, to go from what the Hunters was to what's going on in the hospital, it's not bad. Like, it's not terrible. I like the location, and I really like the Daryl Carroll episode. Now, Cross has been really good too. But I would say that in terms of like just the hospital as a location and as a story, you know, I haven't really been satisfied. No, I feel like they're drawing it out a little too bit. If they were going to draw anything out, I think they should have drawn out the Hunter's story a bit more. But you know, who knows where they're going with the hospital stuff? It may start to make more sense afterwards as to why they went the direction they did with it. I do think it's still been great. Also, it's just The Walking Dead. You know, like I've said before, you know, the bar is set so high, it's difficult for them to keep it always at that same quality. It's got to be hard, you know, because the show is really incredible, man. I mean, it's like a movie that just goes on for hours and hours and hours every season, and it's so good. Like, if you watch a zombie movie, there are lots of zombie movies that are not as good as one episode of The Walking Dead. The whole movie, you know, huge budget, theaters, all this stuff, they are not as good as a single episode of The Walking Dead. Or if you want to look at like a couple story arc, you know, like a few, you know. Yeah, I can say that, you know, with total confidence, you know, and yeah, definitely. So the series is incredible, and you know, it's set a pretty high bar for it so far. I've noticed also too, a lot of the times when they add things into the series from the comic books, it tends to not be as epic in the TV series version. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me because I've read it and I'm looking forward to it. But a lot of times when they add things in, it's not that great. Like the Jenner stuff really wasn't that great. I mean, it was good, but, you know, I liked it, but it wasn't as good as a lot of the rest of the stuff. Some of the stuff, well, the stuff they added in with Shane, I loved. But, you know, a lot of the times when they add stuff in, it's not the best, you know. So, I don't know. That's just me. But let me know what you guys think on that one. Do you like the stuff they've added over the series, or do you like the stuff that's based on the comic books more? I tend to like the stuff on the comic books a lot more. That's just me. Next one is from the Governor. I better watch my ass. There's like 5 people in the channel named the Governor, and they all have different icons, and it's funny. Some of them have, you know, the one where he's got the long hair, and, you know, later on the patch. Others have one where he's, you know, clean cut David Morrissey, and he's, you know, and then there's another one that has the kind of like end of season. Is it 3? End of season 3, where he's got the trench coat and he's all crazy Governor. There's like at least 5 of you guys. Anyway, hey Trev, are you going to do a live reaction for the mid-season finale? Well, you know, it depends. It depends. I don't usually do live reactions, but because I usually do my review, which contains my reaction, but it depends on what kind of mid-season finale we get. If we get like Too Far Gone, yeah, I could definitely do that and then do the review afterwards. But basically right now I'm doing like top 5, I'm doing the review, I'm doing the predictions for the next episode, and then I'm doing discussion topics. So when The Walking Dead finishes airing, I make 4 videos after it's done. So I work on that for like 3 hours, like 2 or 3 hours after it airs, right? So if I do like a live reaction, I could probably do that. But it's got to be something big. It's got to be like Too Far Gone. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. You know what I mean? Like a live reaction. Like as soon as I watch it, just turn the camera on, see myself at the end. Maybe I'll do that because I do watch it here. I've got a pretty nice monitor, and I like to watch. I do most of my stuff here in my office in terms of work, including watching things. Sometimes I'll watch it on TV downstairs, but a lot of times I'm making notes, so I'm like right here watching it. You know what I mean? Next one is from Patrick Curtis, and he says, "Hey Trev, are you pregnant? You kind of look like you are. I love your channel, man." Freaking jerk, man. I mean, he sends me some good questions sometimes, and then he sends me crap like this. I mean, you know, I get flack, I get troll, and I get stuff like that. He's saying this because I was talking about Sasha the other day, and her not really looking like she's pregnant. I'll have you know, Patrick, okay, I have actually lost a few pounds, but for me, my weight is weird because I'm at about right now I'm 195, right? But my strength is good. Like, I'm strong, right? But, you know, like, I can lose 20 pounds just if I stop working out. However, you know, I'll lose my strength. I'll lose my size, right, too. And I don't really want to lose size, but, you know, because muscle weighs a lot. Like, if you stop working out, you know, you will lose weight fast if you're bodybuilding or if you're lifting. If you just quit, like when I had the basement being redone, I didn't have my bench down there or my weights set up, so I just stopped. And I had lost like 15 pounds. But then when I went back and started working out again, I was so weak that it just pissed me off. So, but I've been doing some more stuff like exercise, like I have a bike too. I'll exercise and stuff like that. I go for jogs or, you know, just stuff around the house, like, you know, doing the leaves and stuff. It usually gives me a little bit of exercise. So that's good. I could get some more, but you know what? Usually I'm working on the channel. So I used to be an avid into working out, but now I spend 10 to 20 hours on the channel. It takes up from my time I would be into working out and stuff like that. So anyway, but yeah, it's just kind of, also too, I'm on camera. So on camera, people tend to look a lot, you know, bigger than they are usually, because, you know, it's zoomed in, widescreen, everything like that. And that is true. It's not an excuse. It makes me look wider. You know what I mean? Plus, keep in mind, I'm almost 30, man. I'm going to be 30 in like a year and a half. I'll be 30. So, you know, I'm not that young. Sometimes people say I look like I'm like 20 or something, and I like, you know, that's good, I guess, if you think I'm 20, because that just means that I don't look like a, you know, a middle-aged person, which is a good thing, right? Because a lot of times middle-aged people think they tend to look bigger and this kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm rambling, but yeah. So that I'll pretty much call it here for the Q&A. I mean, there are other questions, but a lot of them are not the best. So by the time I get to the 4th video, a lot of the questions are more like comments and just stupid stuff like you, Patrick. So anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this stuff. If you have answers to these questions yourself, you can write them below. If you have more questions, private message them to me. And of course, let me know what you guys think about the finale tonight. Really excited for it. You know, the review will be posted as usual as soon as I can get it posted, pretty much right away after it airs. Maybe a live reaction if it's warranted, and the regular stuff, as you guys have seen to, you know, you gotten used to. You know what the formula is, what I do for the channel. Anyway, if you guys like the video, please thumb it up below. If you want to help support the channel, please share it, please favorite it. That's it for this one, guys. I'll see you tonight. As always, it's Trev, saying peace.